From the time we get our first paycheck, the rules seem incredibly clear. You work hard, earn a steady salary, pay your bills, and carefully lock whatever is left over inside a savings account. There is a deep instinctual comfort in watching that bank balance slowly tick upward. Knowing your money is sitting safely in a vault, completely shielded from the outside world, feels like the ultimate proof of financial responsibility. Curious, slightly conspiratorial. But the balance sheets of the world's billionaires and financial moguls reveal a strange anomaly. These individuals hold almost none of their actual net worth in cash. The exact strategy the middle class uses to build a safety net is missing from the portfolios of the ultra-wealthy. If hoarding cash is the golden rule of personal finance, we have to ask why the people with the most money on earth avoid it. The answer comes down to a silent, constant pressure applied to every dollar you earn: inflation. This chart shows what happens to a fixed amount of cash over a 10-year timeline. Even though the absolute number in your account never drops, this downward line reveals how the actual purchasing power of those dollars steadily collapses as the cost of living rises around it. Earning bank interest rarely solves the problem. Looking at the chart, a new line represents standard savings interest. It remains entirely trapped below the threshold needed to maintain your original purchasing power. Idle money in a bank account suffers a quiet, continuous financial bleed. Relying purely on a savings account guarantees that you will become mathematically poorer year after year. To survive this hidden tax, you need an alternative strategy. Wealthy individuals treat capital as a tool to be deployed rather than a store of value. Instead of vaults, they inject capital into living, breathing vehicles. They buy shares in publicly traded companies, acquire private businesses, and purchase commercial real estate. Because these are active entities, they naturally absorb the rising costs of inflation. When the cost of living goes up, businesses raise their prices, and real estate commands higher rent, effectively shielding the invested capital from losing its value. Over time, these assets generate their own independent momentum. A successful company expands its operations, reaches more customers, and increases its total market value entirely on its own. Generating real wealth requires pulling your money out of a dormant state and putting it into an environment where it can actually produce. A standard salary will always be limited by the clock. No matter how hard you work, you can only ever bill for a finite number of hours in a single day. This chart illustrates labor versus equity. The linear path is labor income, hitting a flat ceiling maxed out by time. The second curve represents asset equity. As the company or asset grows in value, your net worth increases right alongside it. The world's richest executives achieve their status by holding vast amounts of appreciating shares, far outstripping the potential of a yearly salary. Acquiring structural ownership separates the working class from the ultra-wealthy. It reveals a clear philosophical divide. Poor and middle-class individuals trade their time for money. The wealthy engineer systems where their money works for them. You can think of every invested dollar as a tireless employee. Its sole job is to go out into the economy, recruit additional dollars, and bring them back to you. Making this work requires a psychological shift. You have to stop viewing cash as a finite resource to be hoarded and protected at all costs. By continuously converting excess cash into equity and assets, those dollars compound. They build an autonomous financial engine that runs without any physical labor required on your end. Long-term financial freedom relies entirely on building and maintaining this self-sustaining engine of deployed capital. Remaining a passive saver in an economic system designed around inflation ensures that your hard-earned purchasing power will slowly, quietly disappear. Long-term security requires moving across the line from laborer to owner. The first practical step is redirecting whatever excess capital you have away from static bank accounts and toward fractional ownership of assets, like buying a market index fund, investing in a business, or acquiring real estate. Escaping the savings trap and achieving true security requires starting the wealth-building process immediately.